I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you, but I want to start off by telling you guys a story. And before I get into the story, I'm going to wait for Mark to cue this up, because I believe the only way to grow and get better is to have somebody else watch you and critique you. And so, this being the first time that I've spoken to the Exchange Club, I'm anticipating this will go on YouTube. So please don't say anything that you don't mean. Is it on, Mark? Perfect. Guys, I'm really excited to be here. And I want to start off with a story. Many of you know of me, but a lot of you don't know me. So what I want to do is tell you a little story about myself. When I was 12 years old, my parents were going out of town. Now, I'm the oldest of three. And let me tell you something. You guys know Dwight. Now, we're very different. Very, very different. You see, he's a lot smarter than me, but I'm way better looking. And as a 12-year-old boy, he taught me some entrepreneurship skills. And my parents were going on vacation. And before they left on vacation, and I went to stay at my friend's house, I cracked open a window. Why, you might ask? Because I had to get back inside. But why did I have to get back inside for a 12-year-old? Well, I had an idea. And it was the first business that I ever started. And that idea was to have a yard sale with my parents' stuff. Well, they were out of town. And so that's exactly what I did. I sold a lot of stuff, and I did some pretty good deals, didn't I, Mom? In fact, so good that my parents bought me a brand new basketball that I bet they paid $25 for, and I sold it for a quarter. Upon my parents' return, they were surprised that their stuff had gone missing. And they asked me, Shane, where did our stuff go? Did we get robbed? And I said, no. You were out of town. I wanted to make some money, so I sold your stuff. I hope you don't mind. Now, my dad, as you know, he can sometimes be an unhappy man. But this time, he wasn't. He looked at me and he said, I appreciate your honesty and your entrepreneurism. Shortly after that, my father was an excellent man. He coached our junior jazz team. And as you know, in junior jazz, at the end of the season, they give you tickets to the jazz game. Now, does anybody know here where those tickets are? They're in what is known as the nosebleeds. So sitting with my father, and many of you know he's an active jazz participant, I said to him, I said, Dad, I appreciate you taking me to the game, but these seats suck. How do we sit down there on the front row? And he leaned over to me and he said, son, those people that make a lot of money. And I looked at my dad and I said, well, Dad, then I want to make a lot of money. And so we came home and he gave me something. He gave me a book. Now, have any of you ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Napoleon Hill? You grab my stuff. Yep. Anybody here? Napoleon Hill? Young man in the back. You heard of Napoleon Hill?
Yep.
Who is he?
He is the author of Think and Grow Rich and many other books.
And at 10 years old, you're telling me you've read this book?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So guys, Think and Grow Rich. I came home at 12 years old and my dad gave me the book and he said, son, if you really want to be successful and wealthy, then you got to read the book, Think and Grow Rich. It was written back in the 1900s. It is about a man named Napoleon Hill who studied 500 of the most successful people. Andrew Carnegie, Theodore Roosevelt, Henry Ford. These were some of the people that he followed and studied for 20 years. What people don't know is that he studied 15,000 failures. The secret to success is actually failure. And I'm here today to tell you about mine. Now, at 16 years old, I see Ralph Dearden in the room. And it was the first time that I had met Ralph Dearden at 16 years old. After reading Think and Grow Rich, I said, in order to become wealthy, you have to know the wealthy. So I came to the Ogden Country Club at 16 years old, dressed in my suit and my tie, because that's what my dad had ordered me to do. And I sat down, and any of you here know Crow, or remember Crow? Anybody? Does Crow ring a bell to you? He was one of the assistant professionals here. And I sat down with Crow and he started the interview process. And I said, whoa, 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 slow down. Crow, you don't have to pay me anything. I just want to be around successful people. I want to see how they think. I want to see how they act. I want to study them. And I'm confident, you don't have to pay me a salary, I'm confident that I can get by on tips. And Crow said, we can't do that, but you're hired. And so I got a job at the country club. And I love my job at the country club. But guess what Tuesday is, guys? Ladies' Day! So as a 16-year-old, I hear about, I'm looking at the schedule, and guess what? Nobody wants to work Tuesdays. And so I ask, as a naive 16-year-old, why is Tuesday always open? I'll take Tuesday. They said, listen, it's ladies' days, and the ladies are tight. They do not tip. I said, really? Okay, I'll take Tuesdays. Because my belief was, I wasn't going to let somebody else determine the outcome for me. I decided that if anybody could make the ladies smile, it was this guy right here, especially the older ladies. And if I could make them smile and have a better day, then they would tip. And they would tip more than the men, because the men are thinking about business. The women care about how they're treated. And so Tuesdays became the most successful tipping days because of this strategy of being positive. The strategies employed by Napoleon Hill and another author I read, Dale Carnegie. Now in that process, I met a wonderful man that many of you know here at this country club. His name is Herman. Does anybody know Herman? Raise your hand if you know Herman. Herman is one of my heroes. He's one of the greatest men to ever walk this earth. And as I got to know Herman, I would see Herman. Has anybody ever seen Herman mad, sad, disappointed, discouraged? Does that describe Herman? Not the Herman I know. You see, Herman didn't have a lot of money. He was the shoe shine guy. He was the repair the spikes guy here at the country club. He drove an old beat-up truck. And I told Herman at 16 years old, I said, Herman, one day, I'm going to own a country club just like this. Now at 16 years old, that's a pretty lofty goal. And you know what Herman looked at me and said? He said, Shane, I believe it because you said it. Does that sound familiar from Herman? I believe it because you said it. So Herman believed in me. And he was happy. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is happiness is not having that car or having that house or having that job. Happiness starts today. And I learned that from Herman. I learned a valuable lesson from Herman. After my experience here at the country club, I went on to be an entrepreneur. I started a business in college, and then I went to work with my father. And many of you know that. And I was part of the club working with my father. My whole job was client acquisition. I had the greatest job on the planet. I played golf every day, and I went to jazz games and sat on the front row. It's a pretty good gig, isn't it, John? See, John owes me. In 2007, I decided that I wanted to try something on my own. Because to that point, everything had really worked out fantastic for me. I had made great money. I had had great experiences. I had met some celebrities in the process. And so I left Merrill Lynch. I came home and I told my wife, honey, I quit. She said, you quit your dad's business? You're going to take over your dad's business. Why would you do such a thing? And I said, because I need some experience. I need to experience as an entrepreneur what it's like. Everything's worked out. Everything came to me pretty easy. So I wrongfully assumed that being an entrepreneur, everything would continue to be easy because I was told that I had the Midas touch. So in that process, I started a business. The biggest mistake that I made was I started a business and I didn't know what that business was going to do. And I would advise any entrepreneurs that before you start a business, you should at least know what that business is going to do. And the only thing I had was a cool logo. So I started Silverleaf with no idea what it was going to be or do. And in the process, I made investments. I tried different things. And I'm telling you, I got my ass kicked. Pardon my French, son. But I got beat up pretty good. I lost a lot of money. But I learned a whole lot about who I was. And in that process, in March of 2008, I was reading the Wall Street Journal cover to cover. Because I was 27 years old and I have a pretty good memory. So even though I didn't know what I was talking about, at least by reading the Wall Street Journal, I could regurgitate what I read, and people thought I was smart. And one day I was reading about a bank that had failed. And I thought to myself, what happens with the loans? If I had a car loan with that bank, what happens? It was the third bank to have failed. So as a 27-year-old, I picked up the phone and I called the FDIC. You all are familiar with the FDIC, right? You all are familiar in 2008 with all these banks that were being shut down and closed. So I called the FDIC and I said, if I have a $20,000 car loan with your bank, what happens? They said, we take these loans, we package them, and then we sell them to private investors. And I said, at what price? They said, typically, if they're not paying on the loan, 15, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents on the dollar. And so I said, perfect. That's what I'm going to do. And I've got a great network. So I went out. And I talked to all the people that I knew. And they all said to me, that's a really good idea. How many deals have you done? And I would look at them and say, well, none. That's why I'm here. I need your money. I'm broke. And they all looked at me and they said, Shane, I really like you, but I don't think so. You need to show me some track record. So after failing and failing and failing, I kept changing my approach and changing my approach and changing my approach. And finally, in September of 2008, I said, forget it. I'm just going to go bid on stuff without the money. And then I'll figure it out. And if any of you play golf with me, you know that I can put myself in the most precarious spots, and somehow, some way, I'll find a way to make birdie or par. That's just how I operate as a golfer, and I operate that way in business. So I made a bunch of bids. I made 23 bids. I went over 23. Finally, I bid on a brew pub. This Mormon guy bidding on a brew pub in Chicago. It's a $4.1 million loan. I bid $800,000. And all of a sudden, I get a call from the FDIC that says, it's your deal. I had $100,000 in the bank to my name. The way these deals work is you have to put 10% down, it's non-refundable, and you got to close in 2 weeks. So I said, here's my $8,000, and I hustled like a dog, showing people, hey, come invest in this, lend me the money in this. I tried all sorts of approaches until I found a gentleman by the name of John Pennington, and he said, that's a really good deal. I'll just buy it from you. Assign me the contract, I'll pay you $1 million. I paid $800, he's paying me $1 million. You do the math, it's $200,000, plus I get my 80 grand back. Boom, I got $300,000 in the bank. I proceeded to do that until I had acquired about $3 million in cash over the course of a 4-month period. And guess what I thought? I am on top of the world. I'm unstoppable. I'm back where I need to be. And so I proceeded to continue to buy. And in that process, in 2010, I bought about $150 million worth of stuff. And I thought, I'm pretty big stuff. And in that process, a lawsuit came from the State Securities Division over a $200,000 deal that I had done in 2007 as part of my failures. And all of a sudden, my world was turned upside down. The risk of going to jail, the information and the Salt Lake Tribune writing negative press about me. I had two options. I could either crawl into a hole and cry like a little girl, or I could use that as motivation. I settled that lawsuit in 14 days. The Salt Lake Tribune didn't write about that. And I used that as fuel with that information online about me. And I proceeded to raise over $200 million and buy $650 million more of stuff. I bought $800 million worth of stuff. And in March of 2011, I bought a country club. And let me tell you, it's pretty cool to own a country club, especially a $30 million clubhouse where it's $125,000 to join, and it was in Arizona. I was at the pinnacle of my financial success. I'd done $800 million worth of deals, and I was 31 years of age. I thought I was big stuff. I'm flying on my planes down to Arizona. I'm wearing the nice clothes. I'm driving the Porsche Panamera. Life is good. I'm happy. Or so I thought. Because in September of 2011, after having Huey Lewis come to our club and put on a concert for all of our members, I came home and I told my wife, honey, I don't love you anymore. I want a divorce. You see, I misunderstood some fundamental truths. I thought that because I had all this, I would be happy. And in that process, I almost lost my most valuable asset. It took me about 30 to 45 days to finally wake up and realize what I've done. So I want to share with you the formula that I've been working on since that day. Because I had a lot of repenting to do. In that process, I thought that when I have that money, then I'll go and serve. When I have that car, when I have that cash, when I have that business, when I have that investment, then I'll be a better dad, I'll be a better husband, I'll be a better father, I'll be a better son. And I'm here to tell you guys, that is false. That is not true. I call this the 4 quadrants. Now, fortunately, I'm here with some of the wisest people that this planet has to offer. Because it's your experiences that build your character. And I feel like at this point, the life I've lived, I feel like I'm a 60-year-old trapped in a 33-year-old body. Now, the 4 quadrants, they look like this. Spiritual, physical, relational, and financial. At that time, I only focused on this. And my life was a mess. But I didn't realize it. So when I say spiritual, Pastor, forgive me, because this is just as spiritual. Good books are just as spiritual as the Bible, or any other good book. Anything that improves your intellect, which would be studying math, studying history, falls into this category, spiritual. So I had to spend an hour a day focused on that, serving other people, opening a door, smiling at somebody, giving my man, Ralph Dearden, high five. Okay? What I did right there is I covered my spiritual and my relational. Now let me tell you something. Once you take care of this, you got to take care of this. Now this is why these people are very wise. I see Jim Patterson in the back. And I know Jim Patterson plays a lot of golf. So he exercises. This is important. This is important. The physical is important. Smiling is part of the physical. And then the relational. Focusing on your relationships with your spouse, with your kids, with your grandkids, with everyone you come in contact with. Now, if you can get these 3 things right, this takes care of itself. I've spent the last 2.5 years working on those 3 things. And in the process, I started consulting with a number of different businesses. This philosophy. And I'm here to tell you that the philosophies of business are backwards. I went out with a sales organization a little bit ago. And inside of this organization, you've heard of these kids that they go out, they knock doors, and they sell security alarms. How many of you have heard of a business like that? You've heard of it, right? Yeah. Have you ever heard anybody go, I love it. It's the favorite thing that I love to do. I can't wait till the summer to go knock on people's door and have them tell me to go fly a kite? No, they say, this is what they say. It sucks, but I like the money. And I'm here to tell you, if you wake up and you say life sucks, then go do something different. And I wanted to prove some things to this sales organization. And I want to do it with you today. Now, your mind at positive operates at a 39% higher intellectual level than at neutral or negative. A mind at positive operates at 37% higher intellect than at neutral or negative. So I'm going to show you how I start my day. How I get this thing cracking. You know, many of you run on a treadmill, right? You don't start at 10. You get warmed up. And as you get warmed up, you do a little more. So we're going to go ahead, John, if you could help me. Oh, it's already set up. Okay, I'm going to have all you guys stand up for me. Grab the paper that I handed to you. And I would advise you to grab your grandkids, especially if you want them to listen to you. I do what's called brainwashing for good. I know this is weird, but inside of all my organizations, the only way that I bought $800 million worth of stuff was by going through this process. So I'm going to go ahead, and I want some enthusiasm. I want people to be excited about what we're doing, right, Jen?
Yeah.
Do you do your affirmations?
Yeah.
When I was 12 years old and my dad gave me that book, he gave me some affirmations and he said, son, go stand in front of the mirror and look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how great you are. And I've been doing it ever since. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to repeat them all together. So just follow along with me and we'll go. Okay, Pastor? All right. Ready? Today is great because I choose to make it great. You guys need to say it with me, okay? Ready? Today is great because I choose to make it great. I am powerful. I am efficient and effective, targeting attention to detail. I always tell the truth. I am a leader yet no one follows. I am loyal. I have empathy for others. I am fully engaged in all activities in my life. I am always on task. I am healthy. I love my life. I am a winner. I am determined. I can do more and handle more. I am diligent. I do things that make money. I have character. I am always aware of what needs to be done. I find joy in all I do. I treat people with respect. I am willing to make sacrifices to achieve my final goal. The more grateful I am, the more reasons I find to be grateful. I control my schedule. I stay on schedule. My schedule gives me peace of mind. I take care of my body. I have unlimited energy. When I believe in myself, so do others. Challenges bring opportunities. I am the master of my habits. My mind is always focused. I am kind, generous, and thoughtful. I expect to win, and I do. I live my dreams. I create a win-win with everyone I meet. I achieve my goals. I surround myself with positive, successful people. I am disciplined, therefore I achieve my goals. I am brave. I am courageous. I am in charge. I am a leader. I keep my emotions in check. I live in the moment. I am organized. I am disciplined. I have integrity. I always tell the truth. I am enthusiastic. I magnetize success to me daily. I am committed daily to improving my health, my mindset, my skills, and my business. I keep positive, exciting, fun, productive thoughts in my mind at all times. Yes! Okay, go ahead and see. How good do you feel? It's just that easy. If we're going to live this life, then we might as well live it in the most happy state that we can possibly be. Now this is something in an exercise that I go through every day. Now I'd like to invite my son Jet up to say some of his positive affirmations. As we take our children to school, part of the program is that they repeat aloud their positive affirmations to a specific song. I think Jet's song was from the Lego movie. It's called Everything is Awesome. So, Jet, would you mind sharing a couple of your positive affirmations? Go ahead and take the floor, my son.
I'm amazing. I will get into Harvard. I'm the smartest. I'm successful. Opportunities show themselves to me daily.
Thank you. I would encourage you to do this with your grandkids, to do this with your kids. It's one of the greatest lessons and secrets that my father taught me. Now, many of you don't know my dad. He's an amazing man. He's accomplished things that he shouldn't have, given his circumstances. But he was unwilling to let his circumstances determine his outcome. Just as I was unwilling to allow some negative article determine my outcome. So I went out with these sales guys for a company that's the third largest privately held alarm company. And I produced these exercises. I spent time with 4 guys. I did 1 meeting for the whole team. A total of about 20 reps, sales reps. The week I wasn't there, they did 128. The week that they were practicing these principles, they did 182. That's a 29% increase. If I buy a stock at $128 a share, next week it goes to 182, who in here is happy? Everyone, right? Everyone wins. It's a win-win. Now, interestingly enough, I focused on 4 guys, and I'm going to tell you their stories. Ryan Lortz. He's a young man. He's 26 years old. He has a wife. The week I wasn't there, he did a total of, what's that? 5 minutes? He did a total of 4 deals. Now, I'm not saying it was because of me, because, guys, I'm a charlatan. Many people have called me a fraud, and they're exactly right. I am a fraud because everything that I know, I've learned from my father, or I've learned from the books that I've read. So I'm a charlatan. So it wasn't me. I was just the messenger. I was just the one indoctrinating them with these things to make sure that their mind was operating at positive instead of neutral or negative. So Ryan Lortz, 4 deals. When I spent the week with Ryan Lortz, he did 20. If I buy a stock for $4 and the next week it does 20, that's a pretty good deal. Another guy, his name's Josh New. The week that I didn't spend with him, he did 8. The week that he spent time with me and followed these principles, we did 16. Or he did 16. Melvin White, who's a Polynesian, doesn't like to work so much. The week without me, he did 5. The week with our group, he did 20. John White. These are seasoned sales representatives. John White did 6. The week I wasn't there, he did 16. I have no technical knowledge of the security alarm business. I can't tell you how it works. I can't tell you how it functions. I can't tell you how to operate this stupid thing. But I taught these guys to have a positive mindset. Instead of looking at the door going, I hope they don't slam it in my face, or instead of knocking on the door and saying, sorry to bother you, I taught them simple things. Be confident. Expect to win. Expect them to say yes. Now, how many in here know Michael Jordan? You've heard of him? Kind of a popular guy. Does anybody know, or does anybody think, that when Michael Jordan shot the ball, he thought, I hope it goes in? Do you think when Michael Jordan shot the ball, he expected it to go in every time? He did, didn't he? His shooting percentage was 49.7%. Which means even when he missed, he expected it to go in. The same is true in life and in business, especially in that door-to-door arena. Expect to win. Expect to close a deal. Expect to make the sale. And that's how you'll win. You see, what you think about, you bring about. And what restates, thus creates. The most commonly traveled road of mediocrity is being realistic. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do something. Ever. And be focused and make sure that you don't hold anybody else back from achieving their dreams. Like Herman said to me when I wanted to own that country club, and I did. I believe it because you said it. I believe it because you said it. Guys, I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you. John asked me to do this on Saturday, and I really enjoy this club. I love the people in this club. I see a lot of familiar faces, and they're familiar to me from when I was 16 years old, and you were coming down. Dee Brockman had to get his big black bag. It was big, too. It was heavy. And I remember Dee Brockman always having a smile on his face, except for when he lost money. I'm a 5, so you should invite me to play in some tournaments.
So Shane, are you starting another career as a motivational speaker?
I have a goal that by the time I'm 40, I'd like to do a TED Talk. And so in order to do that, I have to capture a lot of different experiences. And so I found this door-to-door model very attractive, actually, as a way to coach, motivate, because that's a very tough environment. I mean, we're asking guys to go to somebody's door, they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. And your job is to, in the first 10 seconds, get somebody to like you. And so I like training guys because when you teach is when you learn the most. And so I do have a goal to do that. I love speaking. I love speaking because, and I'm selfish, it makes me better. And that's why I'm recording it. I'm not recording it so I can rewatch it. I'm going to have my life coach rewatch it. I'm probably going to have my dad rewatch it because he's the most critical man I know. And I'm going to have him critique it. Got it, Dad? Okay.
Are there any other books you read?
Yeah, I require 2 books to be read with anybody that I work with. One is Think and Grow Rich. The second one is
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Both books were written within a matter, published within a matter of months of each other back in 1930 what, son?
1937?
6. But Think and Grow Rich was in 37, so you're partly right.
Okay.
So yes, the answer to that is I'd love to. And the more free speaking engagements I can do like this, the more practice I can get. A TED Talk is, you have to get invited to do it. It's a pretty prestigious platform. Tony Robbins has done it. Sean Akler, who's a friend of mine, did it on positive psychology. And it's just kind of a, if you do a TED Talk, you're just...
A lot of them are like at Cal Berkeley and Stanford and such, and then there's an application you can go on your iPad and watch all different topics of these TED Talks. So you've got to be an expert in some area and be invited to do it.
And they're fantastic, and if you watch them, then I just plagiarized every single person that you're going to watch. So.
Can this be off the record?
Off the record.
How long do you have to wear that belt before you win the bet?
As long as I wear the socks, I'll wear the belt. Because I am different than my father. The man doesn't know how to dress. In fact, he went on vacation and he wore my mom's pants. This is a true story.
By mistake. You didn't do it on purpose.
By mistake, if I put on your pants, I'm pretty sure I know that they were women's pants. But see, that's the big difference between me and my dad, because I coordinate my socks with my belt.
Did he teach you how to tuck your shirt in?
Well, yeah, I'm working on that. And I just get so excited, I'm so enthused, the energy is just exploding from it. Anybody else?